22 is a question that you need to get right. There are no exceptions here. It requires very little knowledge except one definition, right? The question gives it to us. We need to know what a median is. A median is the middle number when you arrange a set from greatest to least or least to greatest, doesn't matter. As long as they're in order, the middle number is the median. You have to know that for the SAT. There are no exceptions. It could come up, and it is a guaranteed 10 points if it does, and you know it. Guaranteed 10 points that you lose if you don't. So what most people think about with median is they start kind of just crossing things off. And so what a lot of people do is they go, okay, cross one off, cross one off, cross one off, cross one off, and they keep going top to bottom, and then they kind of get to the middle here, 17 and 20. And now you should look at the answers and see, all right, well, that doesn't make any sense, because when you do have a median with an even number, you're supposed to take the average of those two things, which would not be 17, nor would it be 20. So you hopefully, if you tried to do that, would sense a problem. Not just because the answer that you would get isn't there, but because you also left an entire column on the field here. We need to use all the information. This is supposed to be a hard question. We're nearing the end of the calculator section. It's not going to be just like crossing things off like that. They're not going to give me this other column for no reason. We need to use it. So what do we end up doing? Well, we can ignore all that because we're not going to cross out on the left-hand side. We're going to cross off on the right-hand side. Because what it really means when we say that we have a frequency of 4 for the states with 10 electoral votes, it means that there are 4 10s in our list, right? There are also 4 11s, 1 12, 1 13, 3 15s, and so on and so on. Now, we don't want to have to write out the whole list. A lot of you do that because that's how you learned how to do statistics back in like elementary school. You don't want to do that. We can do this just by staying organized and showing our work. We're basically going to cross off from the top and the bottom, but we want to use tally marks to keep track because we're going to have to cross off certain boxes multiple times. So let me show you what I mean. If I were to cross off, I would cross off 1 from the top and 1 from the bottom to keep things even. We're going to work our way towards the middle. Now, when I cross off the 1 from the bottom, that gets rid of all the 55s. But when I cross off the 1 from the top, that's only 1 of the 4 10s. So I need to cross off another 10 before I move on to the 11s. So that 10 crosses off my 34. Then I have another 10 that crosses off my 31 on the bottom. And then my last 10 crosses off my 27. So in order to cross off the 10, I need 4 tally marks to keep track of those 4 10s. And so that is how you find a median when you have a frequency chart. So we're just going to keep going. So in this case, 11, that's 1 11, gets rid of 1 21. But there's multiple 11s and there's 2 21s. So we have to have 2 tally marks to get rid of the 21s. And then we get rid of another 11, that gets rid of my 20. Then we have the last 11, that gets rid of the 11s, and it gets rid of the 17s. And then we have 1 12, that gets rid of one of the 15s. And we have a 13, that gets rid of the other 15, but we still have 1 15 left. And that 15 is my median. So it's a little more complicated than we probably learned when we first learned medians, but not that complicated. It's still taking the same definition. It's just applying it in a way that's a little more confusing, which we should expect as we move through to the harder sections. But if you can just remember what this is a guaranteed 10 points. There's no other twist here other than just being really careful and making sure that you cross off the right numbers. Because look at those answer choices. They're the same 4 middle numbers. So if I make one tiny mistake, if I lose track of one of these numbers, the odds of me getting a wrong answer that's there is pretty high. The SAT knows that. They're going to put the wrong answers that you're most likely to get. And so you have to show your work so you prevent yourself from falling into that trap.